Ladies and gentlemen,
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
Waffles.
Chicken.
from Waffle House.
Oh!
This is episode 14, and we are fantasy booking until WrestleMania. I mean, not WrestleMania, SummerSlam. I meant to say from
WrestleMania 40
till
until SummerSlam of 2024.
Yes, SummerSlam will hopefully be, well, it will be in Columbus, in the Browns
Cleveland, dummy. Yeah.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah!
But
I'm
East
so
End's
sorry.
correct.
I'm so sorry.
It is in Cleveland, in the Cleveland Browns Stadium.
In the Ohio State University field.
In the Cleveland Browns Stadium.
Okay,
You
well,
don't know your
we
stuff.
are going to be there. We are going to be at SummerSlam, so we hope to see you at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Yeah!
Yeah.
So, J-Dog 5476 is going to go first. So we have fantasy booked. This is right before WrestleMania 40. So much heat. So
much heat.
But, you know,
It's packing some serious
it's
heat.
going to be awesome.
We'll see. Because mine's a little wonky.
Okay.
It might not completely follow through. So, I got mine split into 2 nights. Because obviously they're going to do 2 nights. Alright. Starting with night 1. I have my opener for night 1. The Battle of the Blood. The Battle of the Brothers. The Battle of the Usos. I got Jimmy versus Jay Uso. And for my next match,
You're not even going to talk about it?
I think this is gonna be one.
Who's going to win?
I think Jay obviously is gonna win.
Wait,
I don't, because I don't see Jimmy winning. Like Jimmy winning signifies like a bloodline win.
Yeah?
I see WrestleMania 40 being the night of.
What if Roman retains? Jimmy, you know,
I think the only victory that the bloodline gets this whole night is the tag match.
Really?
Yeah. I think Jay wins. I think it's close, but I think Jay pulls it out. Jay gets Jimmy on his side, and we'll see how things go from there. So that's my main match, and I also have my main event next, so I'm going to go ahead and say that. My main event for the match that I have planned, obviously, is going to be Cody and Seth versus Roman and Rock. And I think this is going to be a crazy match. I think it's going to be good. It's going to be really, really good. I just don't see...
This has the same star power as the first WrestleMania.
Right.
As Hulk Hogan and Mr. T versus Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff.
But I think this one even has more star power than that, honestly. Well, but, anyway.
When you're talking about legendary stare-downs...
Oh, yeah.
That tag match is going to be...
It's going to be something else.
This is
Cinema.
The symbol of what the new era is after Undertaker, Shawn, and Triple H. This is the 4, except for The Rock.
If I had to describe in one word what I think this match is going to be, is absolutely cinematic.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's going to be amazing. I think pay-per-view in general as well is going to be very much like WrestleMania 39. Very cinematic. Anyway, I think it's very tightly contested. But I think if you're going to make the main event of night 2 fall the way it should fall and make it the most interesting, you have Rock and Roman win the tag match. And then it's Bloodline rules. And then you have all the Bloodline people come to Roman's side. And then you have all your people who Roman has done wrong with join Cody's side. And then you have your Avengers Endgame. Have this absolute battle between both sides. I think Cody ends up winning, which I'll go back to that when we get to night 2. So, that's my main event. And then other matches I have on the card. I have Bayley versus Io Sky for the Women's Undisputed Championship. I think Bayley's going to win. It makes the most sense. I think you get some involvement with Damage Control. Either they break apart or they're trying to help Io. I think Bayley ends up pulling it out. And somebody, I don't know. I feel like somebody ends up coming to the aid of Bayley and it evens out the numbers. I don't know who that would be. But I think Bayley's going to win that match. It makes the most sense. Next, I have Jade Cargill. I'm not sure about this one yet. but I would love to see it happen, and that'd be Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair. The duel of the powerhouses in the women's division. Like, I think that'll be a absolute barn burner of a match. Like, that would probably have an opportunity to be match of the night.
Oh yeah.
Just because of the star power there. I don't know if it will happen.
This is a dream match.
Just because I don't know if there's going to be enough time to build that up. But I'd love for it to happen. Next, I have, which is basically guaranteed, they're already building up for it, is Randy Orton versus Logan Paul for the U.S. title. I think this is going to be a way to push Logan Paul to the moon. And I think this gives him even more exposure than he already has. And I think you get Logan Paul winning this one because I think there's a better story to go with down the road with Randy. So I have Logan Paul winning that match and retaining. Next, I think they're going to start building it up. I know tonight on SmackDown, Ray came back last week, and this week he's coming to explain what he's going to be doing, I'm guessing. So I have Santos versus Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
And then my next match, which might not come into fruition, I really hope Tiffany Stratton's on the card, but I have Tiffany Stratton versus Naomi. Very first night that both of them got signed, there was a lot of animosity before. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. There was a lot of animosity between the two. And so I kind of got the thought that maybe they're going to build up to a match there. Because I don't think it'll be an amazing match, but I think it would be a good, as unfortunate as it seems with how good they are, a good restroom break match. And kind of an underrated match, but I don't think it'll be match of the night. I think Tiffany Stratton will end up winning that one if it happens. And then last on night one, I have New Day versus Imperium. They've been really feuding these past couple weeks. I think you just have that as a good end of rivalry match. I don't know if you have it as a specialty match of any sort, if it's like a no holds barred or any sort of blood match. But if they do that, I think you have New Day win, gives them a good win under their belt. Kind of declines Imperium a little bit, but I think it would be good. Okay, so moving on. Night 2. This is just going to kind of go in order. So
I will say about that, I think it would be horrible for Imperium to lose to New Day at WrestleMania. Because New Day, they are
true.
one of the best tag teams, but Imperium is definitely next generation. If they're then they're already part of this generation, and they're just not as good. Maybe I really think Triple H. The way they push Gunther, they have to push his team the same exact way. I would feel like they would definitely win.
I'm gonna actually switch mine to Imperium because my booking's actually gonna fit better with them winning because I have them being pushed a lot in other matches later on. So I'm gonna go with Imperium there. Night 2. This is in no necessary order. First match, obviously, biggest match of the whole WrestleMania, Roman versus Cody. I already gave my opinion on that. I think Cody and Seth I think Cody and Seth lose the first match on night 1. It turns into Bloodline Rules. And then you have this kind of Avengers Endgame setup where you have all the Bloodline behind Roman, and then you have all the people who have kind of, I guess, been done wrong by the Bloodline. So you have Randy Orton, you have John Cena, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. Cena's rumored to be on the show.
But not in that. It would definitely be Orton, Sami, and Kevin.
And then maybe Jay, you get out there. Jimmy, maybe. Yeah. You could get Jimmy out there.
You have to have that.
Maybe you get a solo turn here. He ends up turning on Roman instead of being with the Bloodline.
Maybe.
I think that'll be really good. Obviously, I think the right choice, even though I've seen it both ways, right choice is to make Cody champion at this point. Because then you can do Rock versus Roman later down the line. It doesn't have to be for the title. Next match, I adjusted mine due to how the Gauntlet match ended this past Monday. I was expecting Chad Gable to win that Gauntlet match, and he didn't. So I adjusted it. But I think there's going to be a way that he gets back in. So I have my IC title match as Gunther versus Sammy versus Chad for the Intercontinental Championship. I think that's going to be a really, really good match. I think if they end up turning it into a triple threat, I think Chad wins. I don't see it being anything else. But if it stays Sammy, Gunther, I'm sorry. Gunther's probably going to stay champion, I imagine. And I could see them going double title route. Have him go for the world championship after that. And have him look as his dominant character. More dominant than he already is. Next, I have Becky versus Rhea. Storyline-wise, I think it's okay. I think it fits. It's a dream match. I think it's a good match to have. But I still think Rhea is going to pull out the win there. I don't see Becky.
Right.
There's a better storyline to tell later down the line, which I'll get to that. I think Becky Rhea is going to be a really, really good match. I just don't see Becky winning the title on WrestleMania. Next match is the recently announced six-pack match. I have a lot of babyface teams, unfortunately. I have it as Judgment Day versus DIY versus Awesome Truth versus New Catch Republic versus New Day versus Creed Brothers for the Undisputed Tag Titles. And I just realized I can't put New Day in there.
Why?
Unless they pull double duty.
Oh, yeah.
I just realized that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to probably pull New Day out.
There's so many other tag teams, though, you could put in there.
I'm going to put Street Profits in there. I think it'd be a good opportunity. We'll see how that goes. Yeah. Based off of my next predictions, I don't see Judgment Day retaining. I don't. Because I think if they start holding on to these titles too long, I think it's affecting the tag division. Like, there's no fresh matches, no fresh rivalries they can go to. They've beaten almost everybody. So I personally have DIY winning the titles because I think that will give them a good refreshing of exposure than they already have. And they've been kind of on a roll lately. Like, if I had to choose between two, I would say it's kind of difficult, too, with Awesome Truth. I just don't see their rivalries being any good, though. Like, who are you going to pair them up with? I'd love to see that after all this time, but I think DIY pulls it out. I think that would be great for them.
Yeah.
Next, I have Drew versus Seth, World Heavyweight Championship. I don't think this is going to be much of a match. I think it's going to be a good match, but I think the outcome is obvious. I think you have Drew win. You give Seth some time off. I think it's a very hard-hitting match. But Drew really targets those injuries that Seth has and just absolutely drains him. And then in the end, those injuries just overwhelm Seth, and Drew becomes your new World Heavyweight Champion. Next, I have I just realized I skipped a match. I have Andrade versus Dominic Mysterio.
Really?
I don't know if that's going to happen now, because they've been kind of teasing less of a match to happen and more of a team-up. And more either Dominic Mysterio leaving Judgment Day or Andrade join the Judgment Day. So I'm like, I don't know. But that was just kind of like a filler match. I was just trying to think of stuff. And then I also have a John Cena segment because they have been rumoring a lot that John Cena is interested in coming back. And there's also rumors, based off of his own words, they might be going for the record.
Yeah.
Because they asked him what he thinks of when he thinks he'll get the 17th title run. He said it'll be the next one. And I was like, he must be coming back. We'll see. But yeah. And then last, you got to have LA Knight versus AJ Styles. Yeah. That's going to be an amazing match. A great match. It's a dream match, in my opinion. Just knowing their styles.
All right, okay. Now my turn for WrestleMania. I mean, some of these matches are just the same as yours because they're announced. So I'll just get those out of the way. Night one, I have Bianca Belair versus Naomi.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
I don't think you have Jade Cargill come in just yet. You need to build her up even more. But get her right in there with a storyline. We've already seen it at Royal Rumble with Bianca versus Cargill. That's already been a, thought of thing.
Right.
So, but Naomi, she's wanting to get into the World Championship picture. Bianca is that person to beat at WrestleMania. So I think you have these two have not necessarily a number one contendership match, but whoever wins this match is probably going to be in the title picture. Bianca wins. Then you have Becky versus Rhea for the championship. I say Rhea wins. I think this is a big match. This is one of those matches where you don't have to have a big story for it.
No.
It's just a dream match, and that's what it is. So I really think it's going to be a good match. Not anything I'm particularly excited about, but Rhea's going to win. Then you have Randy Orton versus Logan Paul for the United States Championship. And I know you had Logan Paul to win. I have Randy Orton to defeat Logan Paul and get the United States Championship back on his shoulder, just like it was in 2018, 2017 when he was like in the mix with Bobby Roode and them, doing his United States Championship. Ginger. Yeah, we don't talk about him. But yeah, I also think on night one you have that huge exciting match with the six-pack challenge, and I went a little different route. Mine is Judgment Day. It's a little bit more serious, I guess. Right. Judgment Day versus Imperium versus DIY versus AOP versus the Street Profits versus the New Day. And I think you have Imperium win.
I could see
Imperium,
that, yeah, for sure.
I really feel like, the tag team with Gunther, which was Walter in NXT, that went really well when they were the NXT tag team champions. Now, they need a good title run. And I really feel like if they're in this six-pack challenge, I don't see really anybody else winning as a serious contender, I guess. And then night one, you also have AJ Styles versus LA Knight. And this is one of those matches where I see it as, maybe this is the same thing as Bianca versus Naomi. It's not a number one contendership, but, these two are at a certain level where they've lost so much, but their star power is just so high. So they need, whoever wins this match, whoever gets the one up on the other, is that next step closer to a championship match. And I think LA Knight is that guy. LA Knight wins this match against AJ Styles. And then Bayley versus Io. That'd probably be on night 2, but I have it on night 1. I see Bayley winning, and honestly, Dakota coming back and getting on Bayley's side. So it is the three, Japanese girls versus, not the Americans. She's not. Dakota Kai's not American.
She's from New Zealand.
But either way, I'm not trying to start anything, but I feel like that would be the greatest chemistry if you were to split the tag team up.
Yeah.
So I see Bayley winning the championship, though. I really see that. This is Bayley's year, and I like that idea. So then for night 2, you have Jimmy versus Jay to start the night off. That's what I'm. And then night 1 you have Cody and Seth versus the Bloodline. I see. Honestly, I do see the Bloodline winning, like their tag team match, but that's only because I want to see Roman lose the championship.
Yeah.
But yeah, night 2 starts off with Jimmy versus Jay. On that night 1 card, you have them, have that huge war. It's Bloodline and Cody versus Seth. Oh my God. Bloodline versus Cody and Seth. You have Jimmy and Jay have their square off during that main event match. Then the very next night, they start the night off. Jimmy versus Jay, brother versus brother. Jay Uso with the victory. And this is one of those matches where, I know it's a part of the Bloodline overall story, but I could definitely see Jay get a championship match off of this.
Yeah.
And I did originally have that six-pack, match or tournament or whatever it was to get Gunther's championship at WrestleMania. I really seen it. I thought Shinsuke was going to win, and I had Shinsuke beating Gunther. I would love to see a Shinsuke Intercontinental Championship reign again. If he beats Gunther, automatically, the prestige of Shinsuke's reign. Shinsuke is a legendary wrestler, but he's kind of been watered down since he came to WWE from New Japan. So now you have, he did a heel turn by hitting AJ Styles in the balls. That was kind of the downfall of the Shinsuke character, for me at least. He's had a revamp.
Should have won.
He's had a revamp with all the Great Muta, the quirks about him. The face paint. He hasn't actually worn face paint.
No.
Either way, he just has that mystical kind of feel to him like he didn't have before. And I think it's similar to Great Muta. Obviously, the mist is the one thing, but I would like to see him wear face paint. But either way, if Sammy is going to be the person that faces Gunther. I see Sammy winning because I want Gunther to be. I don't want him to have this championship anymore. And it's not because I dislike it. I think it's time for him to move to main event picture. And I'll get to that later. But basically, I also had Night 2, Mysterio versus Escobar. Escobar winning. I feel like this would be a huge win for him, and this would probably shoot him into the title contention as well, whether that's mid-card or World Championship picture. Yeah, and then on Night 2, you have Seth versus Drew. And I see Drew McIntyre winning. And I like the idea of this. Bloodline wins the first match. So now Seth is tired. He doesn't, yeah, he might get injured during the first match. So then in Night 2, he comes in injured. Maybe that's the way you protect him, and have Drew get this. I want to see a heel Drew McIntyre come out on top with the championship. Then you have Cody versus Roman. Cody Rhodes coming off with the victory. That big war like you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my WrestleMania.
Okay, so we're moving on to the Backlash card next. So I'm kind of building off of the WrestleMania card.
Of course, you should be building off the WrestleMania card. What are you talking about?
Shut up! So I had Sammy as a part of the Intercontinental Championship picture. I think he doesn't get the job done. I think Gable gets that, but I think you move Sammy up and give him a world title shot, because I think a good Sammy-Drew feud would be good right here. So I have a build-off of the IC title match with Sammy, but I have him moving up into the world title picture, because I think it's around that time. I think it's about time that he gets a world title. A good world title rivalry. I think they build off of the entry angle from Drew and Sammy, and you build off of that, and you do a match between Drew and Sammy. I think it's a well-thought match. I think it's one of the best matches of this card. But I think Drew still gets it done. I see Drew having a really, really lengthy run. I see him going for at least a year. And so I think Drew pulls it out. Very hard-hitting match. Next, I have Logan Paul versus Randy Orton versus AJ Styles for the United States Championship. I think that's going to be a really, really good match. It's honestly hard to tell who's going to win this. I think based off of what I have Logan Paul winning again, because there's a later feud I want to do down the line. I think that's a barn burner of a match as well. Next, I have DIY, who are the new champions from WrestleMania. I have them facing against Judgment Day in a essentially rematch for the tag titles. And I have DIY winning because I just want to see them have a decently long reign. Because I think if they book it right, that they could have a really, really good tag title run. Next, I have with it being WrestleMania Backlash, I had Andrade versus Dominic Mysterio. I'm going to switch that. I think you have, since it's considered like a WrestleMania Backlash sort of thing, you could put your Rey Mysterio Santos Escobar match here as kind of a rematch. I'm not sure there. If I do, I'm going to stick with my original match. I'm going to do Andrade Dominic Mysterio. I feel like he tries to get in, and there's some animosity there. You have Andrade versus Dominic Mysterio. Honestly, it's hard to tell. I'm going to say I'm going to have Dominic win that match. And you build some serious heat around, more heat than he already has around Dominic Mysterio. Next, I wanted to do this one because I think it would be a really good feud with how much people love Tiffany Stratton. I think she'll have title rivalries pretty early on. So I have Bayley versus Tiffany Stratton for the Undisputed Women's Championship. And then for my last match, I have Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch. Just because of the whole situation with Rhea. I feel like Liv Morgan has a lot of animosity towards Becky for not letting her have her time, and that Becky's constantly stealing her spotlight. And so they kind of run a match there. I think if they're smart, because I have this building into a Liv title reign, into a Liv title match. And so I think you have Liv beat Becky. It gives her a good quality win, a good quality standing, and will help to make her title run or title win even stronger. But that's my Backlash.
Okay, so my Backlash, I have the first match. This is kind of one of those matches where it's a title contention. Whoever wins this match, like these are two big contenders. Gunther, who has lost the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania, trying to get started in the World Championship picture, I guess. Trying to get started with the big boys. Gunther versus Lashley. And honestly, that's one where you can mark on a number 1. Then you can do it a couple more pay-per-views later, number 2. Like, that would be an amazing rivalry, Gunther versus Lashley. But having that on Backlash is kind of a no story. Right. Just put them on that card. That'll signify whoever wins this match is going to get some. They're going to get some rivalry going with the champion or something. Then you have Imperium defend their newly won championships against the New Day. Oh, and then Imperium smack around the New Day a little bit. Old news. Imperium's the new style in. You have Gunther getting for that championship and Imperium the tag team champions. And then the next match, Randy Orton is defending his newly won United States Championship against AJ Styles. And yeah, you had Styles. He had this match against LA Knight at WrestleMania, and he lost. So he's not in that World Championship picture. He's not in that talk for the Fatal 4-Way Royal Rumble like he was when it was Roman versus Knight versus Orton versus Styles. He is now at the bottom. So he gets his United States Championship opportunity, and Logan Paul, the dirty bastard, interferes and makes Randy Orton lose his championship to AJ Styles. AJ Styles is the new United States champion. You thought he was down? Well, he's back up. Phenomenal style. And then Sami Zayn, the new Intercontinental Champion, defending his belt against the returning CM Punk. yeah, look at that face, Jason. Look at the face. It's Sami Zayn versus CM Punk. And CM Punk pulls out the victory! CM Punk is the Intercontinental Champion! What? What are you talking about? Rhea Ripley defending her strap against Raquel Rodriguez. That is it's not big meaty men smacking meat. It's big meaty women smacking meat. And I'm scared of both of these women. They're stronger than me tenfold. And you have Rhea Ripley retaining her championship. They revisit that NXT rivalry, which was just amazing. Rhea Ripley is a different monster now. And Raquel Rodriguez, she is on the rise. Then, it is Drew McIntyre defending his championship against Seth Rollins in a rematch. You know, we have to have... It's Backlash. WrestleMania Backlash. You have to have a rematch. But this is a good rematch. But just as it's getting good, Damian Priest, that stupid music hits. He comes out, he cashes in, and he wins the World Championship! What? Drew McIntyre is no longer the champion! He got his moment stolen by Damian Priest! What? Then the main event of the entire night, it is Cody Rhodes defending his new WWE Undisputed Universal Champion against the one and only L.A. Knight. Yeah. Oh, goodness. L.A. Knight getting his first... I mean, he beat AJ Styles at WrestleMania. You know, that would be... If he wins, he's in the World Championship picture, and you have Cody Rhodes, who's probably the biggest babyface in WWE. But wait, I think LA Knight might be the biggest babyface. Who is the true people's champion? We find that out at Backlash when it's LA Knight versus Cody Rhodes.
Alright, this is the pay-per-view I think I'm most excited for. in the sense of the fantasy booking.
What are you talking about? What about SummerSlam? SummerSlam should be your most entertaining.
But this
Most
one is
exciting.
so good! SummerSlam's really good too.
All right,
but I really
tell
like
me.
this one. So
What is it?
I have it starting off, which this is not in any specific order. Again, my men's Money in the Bank. We have L.A. Knight.
Yeah!
Against Braun Breaker
You stole my idea.
versus Dominic Mysterio
Boo.
versus Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn versus Andrade El Idolo. I personally, you have to have LA Knight win this. There ain't no way. You gotta have LA Knight win the Money in the Bank. You gotta make up for this past year.
Or Chad Gable.
Yeah, maybe Chad. I have Chad in a different spot. That's why I didn't put him in it. But I have LA Knight winning. I think this is going to be an amazing match. It's big meaty men slapping big man meat. So that's always fun.
That's my favorite
But
video on the internet.
I think the main two that are going to be in contention is LA Knight and Sami Zayn. Just because they're definitely shooting up towards world title pictures. But LA Knight gets the win. I think this is also the time where we get a nice little mid-card push from my boy Montez Ford. And I have Chad Gable with his newly won Intercontinental Championship against Montez Ford.
That's a good match.
And a good, nice little barn burner of a match. Nice technical match. But I still have Chad winning. I gotta have Chad Gable winning. Dude deserves it. Next match, you got my women's match. This is stack 2. I got Tiffany Stratton, it's Tiffy time.
Oh my god.
Next, I have Jade Cargill, Charlotte Flair, Dakota Kai, the returning from just having a baby, Alexa Bliss, and Chelsea Green. Honestly, this is one of the hardest decisions I had to make because there are so many contenders here. I honestly think you go the smart route. With how I book things, I was going to say Tiffany Stratton to start, but I have her going after Bayley. So I'm going to say you have Jade Cargill winning the Money in the Bank. And you use that. Well, actually, no. I changed my mind. We're going to do Tiffany Stratton. I'm going to have Tiffany Stratton win the Money in the Bank. I just think it'll be better to build Jade Cargill naturally instead of using the Money in the Bank. I feel like it's going to be more worth it. So I'm going to say Tiffany Stratton winning the Money in the Bank. Next, I have DIY against Imperium.
Oh wait, real quick. I just wanted to say I missed one on my Backlash card. I had Bayley versus Bianca because Bianca beat Naomi at WrestleMania. You have Bayley versus Bianca, and then Cargill interfered, and that's what made Bianca lose. So Bayley retains her championship at Backlash. You continue with your Money in the Bank.
You interrupted me.
so
That's
sorry.
not nice.
I just you mentioned
It's not nice.
You mentioned the women. I forgot about it.
But I have DIY versus Imperium. I think this is going to be a very hard-hitting match. Honestly, when you were talking about Imperium and having New Day, I changed my mind from having DIY win. Let's get that Imperium win, because Imperium deserves
You
to
can't
have
change your mind all the time just because mine is
No. That's not why I'm changing it. But I have Imperium being DIY. Imperium is in a amazing spot to get that title run, and they would be amazing under a good title reign.
Imagine Gunther and Imperium coming out, World Championship on Gunther, tag team titles on Imperium, just like it was with the Bloodline.
Next, this one's crazy. Don't know how it's gonna happen. Don't know how you're gonna get the heel turn. I have a legacy throwback. We have Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton for the WWE Undisputed Championship.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I have this becoming a trilogy. So I have Cody winning match 1. Match 1 of the trilogy. I think it's an absolute, again, barn burner of a match. I mean, why wouldn't it be? It's Cody versus Randy. But, yep. And then next, I have Rhea versus Liv Morgan. You get that redemption match from when Rhea injured Liv. Took her out.
They have so much history between them two.
It would be an amazing match. Next, this is what I've been waiting for. I know he's Mr. Money in the Bank, but let's have Logan Paul versus LA Knight. Yeah.
For the United States Championship.
For the United States Championship. And so, I mean, with LA Knight being Mr. Money in the Bank, I have to give this one to Logan Paul. Just keep pushing him to the moon. Then next, the moment we've been waiting for months now, I got Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk
You did that
for
on
the World Heavy.
You did that on Money in the Bank.
Oh, you just wait. I have Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. He returned. Well, I probably should have put it. I think he returns at Backlash to attack Drew McIntyre after his match, and then starts to set up a feud between him and Drew for Money in the Bank. And I have Drew winning their first match. And that's all I have for Money in the Bank.
For Money in the Bank, I have the women's Money in the Bank. It's pretty similar to yours. It's Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, both returning. Naomi, Raquel Rodriguez, who, lost to Rhea Ripley, so she's trying to get her redemption right here. Naomi lost to Bianca at WrestleMania. Liv Morgan's in this. Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair have, they're both in the match and they have their intense stare down. Tiffany Stratton's in there and Jade Cargill pulls out the victory. Men's Money in the Bank. Just action-packed, star-filled LA Knight. Yeah. Who just came off of a loss against Cody Rhodes. So he's also trying to get that redemption just like Belair and Rodriguez and everybody. And then you have Breaker. You have to have Breaker the Money in the Bank because this is his time to really come into the WWE. Then you have Jey Uso, who just came off of the huge win against Jimmy Uso. He wasn't on the Backlash card, but he comes on the Money in the Bank card trying to get this Money in the Bank briefcase. Bobby Lashley, who's coming off the loss against Gunther. Shinsuke Nakamura, Montez Ford, Chad Gable, and Andrade.
Ooh.
Stacked. Stacked with mid-card and just stacked with talent. And you have Jimmy Uso come in during the match and basically attack Jey Uso, make it to where he's not able to win. Insanity. And then you have, just crazy spots. You could do so much with Nakamura versus Lashley. You could do so much with Gable, Montez, Andrade, Braun Breaker. But LA Knight pulls out the victory. Imperium defending their tag team titles against DIY. He had the same exact match, and it's crazy, but I have Imperium winning that match. And then you have Asuka and Kairi defending their tag team championships against Bayley and Dakota. That's coming off of the WrestleMania when Bayley defeated Io, but, they had their huge split up. This is that tag team match. And honestly, I think you have Asuka and Kairi win. Beat the world champion. Look, I just beat the world champion. What does that make me? And I'm not world champion. What is this? Kevin Owens taking on Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins trying to get some kind of win. Against a huge star after losing his championship to Drew McIntyre. And then getting cashed in on in the middle of his match. Which will be ironic because that's how he won his first world championship. So you have that huge match. Seth Rollins defeats Kevin Owens, his former tag team partner. Cody Rhodes defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Karrion Kross. The WWE Universal Undisputed Champion. And I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't like Karrion Kross. His character, it was good. It needs some work. But I don't like the idea of this match either. I just feel like it would probably happen. And I feel like it would be cool to have the AOP come out and interfere. And then, the absolute shock factor of possibly having Karrion Kross beat Cody Rhodes. And then you have Drew McIntyre taking on Damian Priest, the new World Heavyweight Champion. And Damian Priest wins because of Judgment Day interference, which is also kind of ironic because that's how McIntyre lost to Roman Reigns, by faction interference.
Alright, so next we're starting with our SummerSlam cards.
SummerSlam. This is the main event of the evening.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway. So my matches, a lot of these might seem like duplicates. That's because I want rematches, and they're most likely going to be trilogies. So my first match on the list is, once again, Cody versus Randy Orton, part of the trilogy.
That sucks. That's stupid.
Shut up. I think you build this up even more. You have Cody win
I think
again.
you should wait for it.
Maybe I should wait for it.
Wait for the Randy Orton rivalry, because obviously there's going to be one. But wait for it like after a while. I don't think you do it immediately.
Yeah,
But I mean, it is a good story either way.
Anyway, I think you have New Day versus Imperium as well as at SummerSlam. Because why not put it on a good show for Cleveland? I think that's going to be an amazing match. I think you still have Imperium win. I think they're going to have a nice, long, lengthy win. Next, I have, once again, well, not once again. Yeah, once again. I have Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk.
Number 2.
Nice. At SummerSlam. I think...
For the World Championship?
For the World Championship.
Drew McIntyre retained last time, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to decide if I want Drew to retain. It seems like this could be the perfect moment to give the title to Punk. I'm going to stick with Drew. I think you... Here and there, you kind of hide like plot storylines with Drew and CM Punk, and then you have that be one of your big matches at... Well, no, because you gotta have Seth Punk at some point. You have it down the road, closer to WrestleMania, is when you'll have Punk win the world title. Next, I have Logan Paul versus LA Knight again. But I think, in this case, you have the megastar LA Knight win the United States Championship. Yeah! I think that'll be big for something like SummerSlam, even with him as Mr. Money in the Bank. I mean, worst comes to worst, he wins another title, and then he has to drop the other title. But I think it will help to build him up.
Right.
I initially had something else, and I decided to change mine because the whole Money in the Bank situation. I originally had Bayley versus Tiffany Stratton. I switched it because I think this will be a better story. I have Bayley versus Dakota Kai for the Undisputed Women's Championship. I think Bayley wins. I think Bayley's going to have a very long reign. I think we're going to be in another year of very lengthy reigns, just with the different stories that are being told.
Yeah.
Last but not least, I'm kind of torn out on how to end this. I think I'm going to stick with my gut, though. I have Rhea versus Liv Morgan again. Part 2. But this time, I think Liv Morgan pulls out the win. I think you have to end it right here. I think SummerSlam's a perfect place to do it. Isn't she from Ohio? I think she's from Cincinnati, if I remember right. I'm pretty sure Liv Morgan's from Ohio, if I remember right. I might have to check that. But, either way. Or no. Alexa Bliss, I know, is from Ohio. I don't know about...
They're not the same person.
I know! I'm just trying to think.
They both look like Harley Quinn doesn't mean they're the same person.
Shut up. I think I'm going to have Liv Morgan win. I contemplated having Jade Cargill cash in, but I think I'm going to stick with Liv Morgan just winning the title. Have it be a feel-good moment, and Jade Cargill can cash in down the line.
Liv Morgan taking that title from Rhea Ripley?
Tiffany Stratton.
What?
Is who I had. No, I'm sorry. I'm recontemplating what I had. I switched it to Tiffany Stratton.
Not doing that. You're not allowed to do that.
No! I'm not switching it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm keeping it as Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. I'm just saying I was contemplating having the Money in the Bank winner cash in. And then I changed my mind. And I just wanted to say Rhea versus Liv. Have Liv win. And then she starts a lengthy title reign from there. Because I think she is the best person to take the title off of Rhea. Just because there's so much story there. Compared to who... Other than whoever else would fall into that line. I think Liv is the best person. That's it for me.
My SummerSlam, I'm going to be honest. It is a little weird It's
little wacky.
Yeah. I have the first match being Bayley versus Asuka versus Io Sky for the women's championship. Bayley retaining. I think it'd just be a good triple threat full of the main eventers. Plus, you have all of them from the from Damage Control, so it makes sense.
Excuse my terminology, but that match would hit like crack.
What? Jimmy versus Jay, number 2. Jey Uso beat him at WrestleMania. Jimmy attacks him during the Money in the Bank match, making it to where, like, he's wanting to be done with his brother. He beat his brother, now he's wanting to get onto the championship. He wants to get the Money in the Bank briefcase. His brother comes in, ruins it for him. But you have the bloodline. Roman Reigns lost to Cody Rhodes. He hasn't been seen. Solo, who has been on the bloodline side. He's been on Jimmy's side this entire time. Jimmy looks at Jay. He's about to deliver the, I don't know what it is, final blow. Maybe the referee's down. Maybe he's hit him with a steel chair 100 times in the neck. You know, I don't know. But Solo Sikoa turns on Jimmy to try to help Jey Uso. Then all of a sudden you hear, bah! Oh! I don't know how to do it, but it's Roman Reigns. After not being seen since WrestleMania, Roman Reigns comes back and he helps Jimmy Uso win and defeat his brother. Jay versus Jimmy, number 2, ends up with Jimmy winning. Then you have Rhea Ripley taking on Tiffany Stratton.
Oh.
Tiffany Stratton wins the World Heavyweight Women's Champion from Rhea Ripley. Oh!
Respect that.
Jade Cargill takes on Bianca Belair. We had the standoff at Royal Rumble. We had Bianca Belair defeating Naomi at WrestleMania. Jade Cargill, you know, they were both a part of the Money in the Bank. She also interfered and made Bianca not re-win the championship that she lost. So this is a huge match, dream match. Cargill versus Belair, number 1. Drew McIntyre, who lost his world championship to Damian Priest, being cashed in on. And then, you know, having the Judgment Day interfere in the match, he now is no longer fighting for the world championship. However, remember at Backlash, who beat Sami Zayn? CM Punk. For the Intercontinental Championship. It all ties together, J-Dog.
No.
Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk for the United States Championship. Or for the Intercontinental Championship.
Huh?
Intercontinental Championship. Here it is.
No.
AJ Styles versus LA Knight, number 2.
Number 2.
AJ Styles defending his United States champion. LA Knight won the Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
This is number 2. WrestleMania.
Number 2.
LA Knight won.
Yeah.
The Good Brothers come in, attack LA Knight. AJ Styles and the Good Brothers. Shut up that little pretty mouth. LA Knight loses.
What?
AJ Styles defends.
What?
Retains because of the Good Brothers.
What?
Logan Paul versus Randy Orton, number 2.
Nice.
Logan Paul versus Randy Orton, number 2. No
Number 2.
championship on the line. Logan Paul defeats Randy Orton.
And that's number 2.
But that has big stipulations because Orton defeated him at WrestleMania. Now Paul gets his revenge. Look, yeah, you might be a veteran. I'm the better wrestler, is what Logan Paul is saying to him, you know, theoretically, hypothetically.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins gets his championship rematch. But it's not against McIntyre, it's against Priest. And guess who wins? Seth
Rollins!
Freaking Rollins!
Yeah!
Then, this all ties together. Think about it. 2023 Royal Rumble. Who are the last 2 men? Cody versus Gunther. SummerSlam 2024. Cody Rhodes defending his World Championship against Gunther, who lost his Intercontinental Championship.
Don't do it.
Cody wins the match.
Oh, okay.
LA Knight comes in with the Money in the Bank briefcase that he just won. Defeats Cody Rhodes. He is the World Champion.
Oh.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Up in it, bitch, we tryna get higher. Put it back at cooking and rack me
eating that pack of meal in a stapper, holding it down, pull up in the primary real. They're just not faking the cap. Yeah, killing the trapper, coming back, I'll break new loose, keep up in the track. I'm feeling the beach, burning, healing, marketing, typing, baking, screech. Don't clap in the sea, air track and pee. I'm master love, but fiend too deep. I'm switching my game, take passion, see even with my shot, no line to see.